let's listen to something here that Elizabeth Warren had to say, and I'm going to try and narrate this with you.
So I want to start by thanking our leader who has been instrumental in trying to put together help for families that are struggling, and Senator Van Hollen. We've worked together because we are just days away from a housing crisis that could be prevented if Mitch McConnell stops stalling and the Senate acts.
All right, let me stop there. At some point, you have to realize you can't keep blaming somebody else for what happened. It's not McConnell's fault. It's not even her fault. I'm going to say that. It's not her fault. A virus happened. And the virus happened, and, at this point, there are people who are in trouble and need help with their rents. And notice what she never says in this video. Go back.
This is about our health, our economy, and our values. Forcing thousands of people out of their homes during a pandemic will make a public health crisis worse. Widespread housing disruptions will also affect essential workers and others who are keeping our economy going.
Notice what she doesn't say there. Forcing people to pay rent. Forcing people out of their homes. Nobody's forcing anybody to pay rent. You agreed to it. Nobody's forcing anyone out of their homes. That's the law. Then rewrite the law. But you have to include a third party here that they are not currently including.
And a wave of evictions will hit communities of color the hardest, further deepening racial inequities in our nation. So first, how bad is this problem? More than 30% of all renters say today that they have little or no confidence they can make their next housing payment.
She's correct. She's absolutely correct. We've seen the data. 30% of people don't think that they can make next month's payment. I haven't seen any data, zero data, that says that overly affects black people, minorities. And I know she's lying. And how do I know she's lying? Because many of the inner city residents, people who rely on the government for money, are already getting it. They're already getting their rent paid. So this is a whole new crop of people who are in trouble that she's seeking to help. But she relies on saying it's minorities. It sounds better. It plays better politically. But she's got no facts that she offers that says that is true.
More than 40% of Black and Latinx renters aren't sure they'll be able to make their next.
So now she goes into the minority part. She didn't need to say the first part. Now she's saying more than 40%. She makes no substantive data analysis that shows that these people aren't already getting money from Section 8. But it sounds good, so let's continue. This is some really good stuff.
Rent payment. Nearly 2/3 of renters who are not confident about making their rent earn less than $35,000 a year. And more.
So if they make less, 66% or 2/3 make less than $35,000 a year, they should already be on Section 8. And where are they renting that they made less than $35,000 per year? It's almost at the poverty level. Now you see how this all sits together. When they do all these lockdowns and they stop people from going to work, who do you think it hurts? Down here in South Florida, it's a huge service economy. It's restaurants, it's bars, it's nightclubs. These are the people who need to be working right now. And these are the people that they're stopping from working. They are creating the crisis. It doesn't affect the executive. It doesn't affect most of the people who are working for a living or own a business. These are the people that they're stopping from going to work and creating the rental housing crisis.
More than a quarter of Black and Latinx renters couldn't pay last month's rent or had it deferred. Think about that. That's 1 in every 4 Black or Latino renters who are already behind on their rent.
So we're talking about a continued problem, something that's ongoing here. This isn't new. This is an ongoing problem. She doesn't talk about what is the normal eviction rate, especially here in South Florida. What's the normal percentage of evictions in South Florida? That's data that would be, good to know.
And to add to that, the high unemployment rate, the number of workers across the country who have had their hours and income cut, and the number of small businesses that have shuttered and may never reopen. And it's clear that the number of evictions will continue to rise.
Yes, they will continue to rise as long as people can't get back to work. That's why she knows it's clear it will continue to rise. It wouldn't be clear if people could go to work, but the longer you keep people at home, the more dependent they become on getting some sort of aid from the government, which is the entire reasoning for all of this. She knows her crystal ball, the crystal ball she's using, is that she knows these people are going to continue to be in a situation where they're vulnerable. How does she know? Because she created it.
Experts are predicting an avalanche of evictions if we don't institute new protections. We are already seeing a rise in evictions in cities where local eviction bans have lapsed. This is a crisis we can avoid. Instead of further delay and denial, the Senate can step up now and prevent this catastrophe before millions of people are forced out of their homes.
Haven't we just seen for the last couple of months that mayors and governors control things, not the federal government? She's talking about a federal plan that will go to certain cities, and I guarantee you it's the Chicago's, New York's, and places in California, the inner city, catering to her crowd. And she wants the feds to step in here, but she doesn't want the feds to step in and help out the people getting killed in Chicago. As a black man, this is driving me absolutely batshit crazy. I see what these people are doing. I've watched what they've done over decades, and it's the same pandering over and over and over. What she doesn't go into is how many of these families who are being evicted are single parent households. There's no dad. You created that. You destroyed the nuclear family, and you want to further destroy the nuclear family. If there were 2 incomes in that house, would they need the government? I don't know, but let her continue.
Representative Chuy Garcia and I introduced the Protecting Renters from Evictions and Fees Act. This bill protects renters from losing their housing if they lose their job or have their hours cut during this crisis and can't make their housing payment. The bill extends the federal eviction moratorium to last 1 year instead of expire.
Whoa. Did you hear that? It extends the federal moratorium on evictions for a year. A year. Not 30 days, 60 days, a year. Let me go ahead and play that back. I was at about at 1:22, so I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to play that again so you can just hear what she says.
Moratorium to last 1 year instead of expiring this week.
Wow. What would you do if you had a house for rent that you knew today the government that you pay taxes to is saying that the tenants that you have in place are not going to have to pay rent for a year? Notice she doesn't say anything about how is the homeowner going to be taken care of? What's going to happen with their mortgage? How are they just supposed to eat it? How are they supposed to just accept cancel rent? Is that what you're saying? Just, hey, they know what they're doing. So you want to cancel rent for a year. And I'm basically 3 minutes into her video here.
That means
and she
that
has
renters would be
still
protected.
yet to mention anything about the homeowner who owns the property. It's kind of redundant there, homeowner who owns the property. She hasn't said anything about the homeowner. What about their financial state? Doesn't even mention. Let's go ahead and just blow this off for a year. Let's make sure people are safe in their homes. There's nothing in this act that she's proposing to pay the homeowner. How about that? Since you're looking for a moratorium and raising money, why don't you raise money for the homeowners? Why don't you pay the homeowner, since the tenant's just going to be staying there for the next year? But she doesn't say that. So let's continue with what she has to say.
Until March of 2021. It also makes the moratorium universal. Every renter will be protected. And
every renter across the country will now, according to Elizabeth Warren's rule, not have to pay rent for a year. She said that word. She goes, it's universal. Getting used to that word? It's universal. Nobody is going to have to pay rent for a year. How's that looking for your portfolio? What are you thinking about your rental property? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, I got a scenario for you. What do you think is going to happen if you have a good tenant and that tenant is paying rent and he finds out, wait a second, they just passed some sort of universal rental thing and I don't have to pay rent for a year? What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, he's going to stop paying rent. Why should he? Hey, listen, you can't do anything. I'm going to be here for a year. This is awesome. This is cool, dude. The government's taking care of anything. It's socialist to the exponential level. This is absolutely nuts, people. I mean, absolutely nuts. Let's continue with this.
every renter will know that they are protected. That's really important because right now, renters often don't know if they're covered by the federal moratorium, and they are still getting evicted. Our bill also makes sure that renters don't get hit with high fees or penalties if they need a few extra months to pay the rent.
Whoa. What few extra months? You're proposing that they get a year for free, and then you don't want them getting hit with fees if they need a few extra months beyond a year? This is never going to end. It's designed to institute the socialist, communist, Marxist manifesto that they have been looking to do. This is no different than her saying cancel rent. She's saying it in the floor of the House, Senate, rather, she's a senator. She's saying it right there and saying that people will not have to pay rent again. Jeez. Hey, thanks for checking out this clip of the Barry Cunningham Show. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, I talk about real estate and the trends and news that affect real estate and making money in real estate. So if you want to see us live, just go ahead and click the subscribe button below, or just click the link below, which is going to be a link to the archives of all of our live shows. And then we'll go ahead and cut these up and get them out there so you can see the clips of the various shows. But in any event, I'm glad you're watching. Please continue to watch and have a great day. Get out there and make some money. And we'll see you on the next episode.